first of all, I would like to thank all the chairs and vice chairs for the wonderful discussion that they have conducted, and all the participants for the insight. There are so many questions that we would be able to address during the roundtable session. But first, I would like to invite the chairs of the 4 sessions to the stage. Unfortunately, due to the crowdcast limitations, we can only have 6 people on stage at a given time. So therefore, I will go ahead with the session 2 chair, Karina. So we will get started as they join us for the discussions. So, while I'm basically inviting them, please do get started with any specific questions that were addressed in your sessions. And the idea is that if we were to first provide a general overview of what were the discussions, and then we can also address any specific questions that were raised at that particular time. So would you like to get started with this session 1?
Yes, so hello everyone. I believe there are many people who were not in my breakout session. So just as a quick introduction, my name is Mohamed Saeed Ahmed, and I'm a student representative in NeurotechEU, and currently I'm studying at the University of Debrecen. Our breakout session's title was Transforming Research and Education. What will be the challenges and opportunities waiting NeurotechEU? We have received many questions, actually 7 questions, out of which we were able to discuss 5 of them, and we haven't had time for discussing 2 questions. And Yildiz is back. Regarding the first opportunity that came up was how beneficial could NeurotechEU's structure be, that it is located in several countries. It gives room to mobility and boost research and education. Also, we discussed that it would be beneficial that the NeurotechEU could offer a European Union diploma degree that is recognized throughout Europe, and hopefully counting as obviously the UK and Turkey in it as well, but not just in Europe, but in other countries around the world as well. So you wouldn't have to go through extra accreditation processes and exams. We created a poll for this, and 98% of the people, 98.4% of the people would like to have a European diploma instead of receiving a traditional one. Out of altogether, we had 62 votes. After that, we received some questions that the first question was regarding, yes, Yildiz?
No, I was, thank you for summarizing. I was wondering, then we can bring out some of them to discuss here. And one was definitely a big topic about accreditation and sort of surrounding legal framework. And we had even a guest, I forgot to ask, where was it from? Orsolia Grega joined us and mentioned that there's some legal groups that are gathering and hoping to sort of put already on motion some framework to discuss how this can be achieved. And we were wondering whether there is an initiative to, or how, in what stages that NeurotechEU is participating in these discussions surrounding European University diploma. And we were hoping perhaps you could enlighten us on this topic.
Sure. So actually this afternoon, we are going to have Vanessa Debreu-Santon giving a talk, as you know, a keynote, and she would be actually the right person to ask this particular question. but there is indeed background preparations happening both at the level of the Commission as well as NeurotechEU Board of Governors has been discussing. So this is a hot item on the agenda, but we are going to discuss more about it in the 11 o'clock session. So just to make sure that all the sessions that we ran have a chance to contribute to the insight in this roundtable, what I would suggest is that we go through all the individual sessions, and then we can, time permitting, we can still basically discuss all the specific questions that are not answered, and we are going to continue the discussion. So do you want to wrap up your session?
Yes, quickly I'm going to summarize the rest of it. So one of the main topics we touched was the legal concerns, how the Common European diploma could be certified, what are the legal challenges in harmonizing different countries' legal systems, and in what stage of this process is at the moment. Then we received another question was that how can you fit the broad spectrum of neurosciences in such a limited time that comes with, let's say, a master's degree? That we discussed the opportunities. How can you break this topic up into several majors, different courses in ways? And a very good question was also, our third main topic was that there was a slight fear in the audience that how if NeurotechEU and the Common European Diploma will decrease quality instead of increasing it, such as in the asker's opinion was the introduction of the Bologna process. So we went around that topic as well and discussed what can be the challenges and opportunities compared to the Bologna process, where you build a new university instead of transforming traditional universities. And unfortunately, we haven't had time to discuss two of the questions, but hopefully if the others give their short summary, then we can get back to them.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We are taking note of these, and we will definitely continue discussion throughout the day as well as afterwards. We are going to definitely get back. Now, the session 2 that was focusing on digital heaven, and Gaurang not with us. Gaurang, do you want to give us a general overview of what were the discussions, what were the questions?
Oh, hi, good morning, everyone again. So we basically had 3 points that we discussed. First one was how can NeurotechEU help in terms of digital mobility for teaching and research. The second point we really got onto a follow-up point was how can we make sure that this digital mobility can be helped towards improving the position of women in science. And then the third point that we were discussing was basically what are the technical challenges and what are the future outlooks. So with respect to the first point, what we can offer in terms of digital mobility, people actually had quite a great response in terms of, because we are in present of pandemic, and what if you could have a digital goggles by which although you are sitting at home but still going to a classroom-like feeling. So it's quite a good challenge that I think that's unreal. So it's quite a good thing that people liked it. In terms of improving the position of women in science, though people like the idea, however, it's never been tried before. Plus, with kids, etc., how that would be, maybe there might be that kids might just may or may not work. But in general, it was taken quite well. And then the third thing that we nearly had to round up is what are the actual challenges in terms of, having the digital mobility. So one of the comments that we got is how can we improve the participations in conferences and in workshops? If we can address this question, then people think, it's going to be all in all great.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So for the session 3, we have both Laura as well as Tara with us, and you discussed the community and how NeurotechEU can reach everyone.
So yes, hello. I'm sorry for the technical problems again. So well, we have discussed with the students about two main questions. The first one, which do they think should be the first step in promoting awareness about neurotech and the students? This was a general question, and then we asked them if should neurotech representatives go to different universities in a post-pandemic scenario, or it's only with digital means is sufficient to do this, to promote this awareness. So in this particular case, we've made a poll, and more than the 80% of the students think that a student representative should go to the different universities and promote awareness by themselves. Because most of the people think that to meet in person and build, creates more strong relationships, and they feel more comfortable just to discuss different things and to know everything. So yes, we have also asked them if only digital means are sufficient, and 60% says that no. So I think it's a very interesting question to address, because we want to build a digital campus, but maybe we should take or think about also to have some meetings, or in each university, student representatives can give some talks, and because most of the students think that the meet in person is crucial in order to build this community. And, also, some students have said that the implication of the teachers is crucial, and that how is the best way to incentivize the teachers to participate in this community also, and how they can learn, or how can we train the teachers to participate in this, because most of the academics maybe have not teaching skills. So they have also said that it's important also to take the teachers into account and train them also to be part of this community in this case. And we've also discussed about if the communications on the groups related with NeurotechEU should be regulated at a local or university level, or on the contrary, they should be part of a global interconnected network. And most of the students said, 60% of the students said that both options are necessary. Let's say a local group, a local communication groups inside the university, and also for sure a global interconnected network in order to share also the different suggestions, problems, ideas between all the different universities. So I think it's more or less the main ideas of the roundtable. If Tara wants to add something.
Yeah, so they're basically all the poll questions that we've asked, and we got really great engagement. We had some questions outside of these main questions, mainly kind of practical questions from the students as to how can they get involved in the NeurotechEU community. So they asked about how can we get in touch with our student representatives from each of the partner institutes. And we suggested that student representatives could make some kind of group within our universities to start off with, either on like a digital group on Slack or Telegram, or even maybe potentially Facebook or social media. And another question is how can students from outside these partner institutes that have founded NeurotechEU become involved? And we mentioned that there are plans to expand in the years to come and get other universities involved. And yes, there was another question about is the background or the kind of course that the student is studying any kind of obstacle to get involved and to engage with NeurotechEU? For example, it was asked to engineering students, can they get involved in NeurotechEU? So we explained that because it's a very multidisciplinary kind of initiative across universities, that any students who are interested in neuroscience and technology can become involved. And the courses that will be offered are very flexible to cater for students' needs by creating these flexible curricula for students to study what they're most interested in. So yes, I think they were the kind of main points that were raised.
Yes, they have a lot of questions about how to join and how this and this is going to be made. So maybe we should think about creating those Telegram or groups or wherever, just to try. And also because a lot of the students want the students' representatives or even a group of students about neurotech. So we should take it into account.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a lot to do in order to ensure that we disseminate the knowledge and make sure that coordinate our activities locally as well, so that we would be able to disseminate the knowledge, establish the network, and once we get started, I think then everybody will be able to reach out to the information and participate with ease as well. So we can also dedicate a specific tab in the NeurotechEU webpage, and this way we can make our student council very visible as well. And this way individual students in participating universities will be able to find you guys with the information that is already available on our webpage as well. Because we have 13 minutes left, I want to make sure that we are getting back to section 2 very quickly, just in case Karina would like to add anything else to what Gaurang has mentioned about the discussion in session 2. Afterwards, we have the session 4 overview that is going to come from Matt. Karina, floor is yours.
Yes, hi. Sorry for being late. I was still logged in with my HQ account, but I changed now, and I heard that Gaurang already summarized our main points. I would just like to add to this that we had some technical issues, but we were still able to get some discussion going. So we got input from our technical student who said that it's already great with technology that neurosurgery can be performed from over a big distance. So this is definitely the way to go, to have more virtual reality, which would also be helpful in terms of education for tutorials, for example, on how to, let's say, dissect a mouse and open the back to get the spinal cord, or to how to get a brain from a mouse, for example. So this virtual reality would really help us in terms of teaching, but also in terms of communication. For example, having conferences online, which, when everything works in terms of technical details, is a great opportunity to still meet during this current pandemic. So yeah, these were the main points that we are made, and also the technical advantages that are now ongoing really help to promote also women and parents in science, because it would be possible to take care of the child care at home and still log in to see what is happening in the lab at the same time. So we think that already technical advances are in a good way, but yeah, it would be definitely great to have more virtual space to go from this 1D communication, which is through camera and audio, to a 3D environment where we could maybe have these 3D goggles on and just switch our head and talk to our neighbor, or perform experiments while being in Bonn, for example, for me, going to the Netherlands virtually.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Exactly. These are actually the vision at the level of NeurotechEU as well. For the campus implementation, we have all the planning and developments in the context of bringing AR, augmented reality, into the classroom as well, and creating these kind of digital lecture halls. And the good news is that everything that we are taking in terms of the steps to forming these digital campus, it is happening in a way that it is going to be an open source development. So it is going to be also openly, freely available to everyone as well. So it is not going to be a just locked in environment and others would be able to benefit, whether they're participating university, partnering university, or, you know, they could be also elsewhere in the world. So all of these are definitely coming. Thank you so much for the overview. I just want to make sure that we are also tapping into the collective wisdom that is coming from session 4. Matt, the floor is yours. And your discussion was on specifically the shared platform and how can NeurotechEU tap the potential of the international, multilingual, diverse fabric of NeurotechEU.
Hello, everybody. We actually had very simple outcomes from our discussion session. The first outcome is that we are generally excited about bringing people from different backgrounds into this interdisciplinary research area. And such alliance is going to unlock an easier access to different techniques or protocols that may not be readily available at where you are. It is also going to help us to gain a better understanding to different protocols and different approaches in different countries and institutions. And a second outcome is that actually we spent like almost a third of the session to this topic, and there is a need for a platform for us for a couple different reasons, but it breaks down to the same idea that we need a platform to share our know-how and the outcomes of our research to gather a collaborative wisdom. Also, there is a lack of integrity, not only thinking internationally, but even between different labs in the same institute. There's not a strong communication on who's doing what kind of research at the moment. So such platform can help us understand who is doing research on what topics and what kind of research can we collaborate with. So such a platform is felt a need by almost all of us. That's for sure. Also, there were a lot of questions that we did not have the knowledge to answer. Maybe you can direct those people to where should they ask their questions.
Sure. So as a general note, across all the sessions, we are going to be collecting the questions that were asked, and we are going to be responding to them in any case. And we do have the contact information of the individuals who asked the question. And in case anyone is interested in and would like to follow up these discussions with additional questions, you can always send an email to hq@, let me just type it over here, the NeurotechEU. And that is the general contact information for the Neurotech. And we will be getting back to you as quickly as possible. Thank you so much. I have a follow-up question on that. So obviously, when it comes to shared platform across different universities, as well as countries speaking different languages, did you guys have a chance to brainstorm on the language limitations, and then whether having English as the only language of communication is the only solution, or are there any expectations in terms of this particular medium to be a multilingual platform?
To be honest, we actually have not expressed this idea. Maybe it's our generation that we already accepted the common language.
Okay, perfect. So now we have about 5 minutes. So I want to make sure that we have also sufficient time in order to get some questions from the audience as well. If you do have any questions, please do let us know. Otherwise, what we're going to do is that we can also get started with some of the outstanding topics that were discussed in the sessions and try to answer them for a little bit more clarification. So one of them, obviously, that is striking is that at the level of the community, session 3 discussion, the message that I gather is that the digital platform alone is not enough. And we need to make sure that that needs to be a hybrid interaction that needs to bring together the real world with the digital world. So that is a point well taken. And obviously, when it comes to the exchange programs, for a long time, Erasmus Plus has relied on physical exchange of individuals. Starting from actually 2021, there are going to be some digital exchange opportunities as well, but the physical exchange will continue to drive the cooperation and the traveling and secondments across participating countries. So I think we are going to need to find a balance, because the digital technologies are here to stay and they provide us a number of beneficial contributions to facilitating communication as well as secondments, and so that we can at any moment be connected to anyone within the network. But definitely we are going to need to improve the cooperation with the physical touch. So that will require us to create physical events. So in the planning of the NeurotechEU, we have actually created what we call Neuro Innovation Summits. And these are going to be annual events that bring together the entire network. And there, not only we are going to showcase the research and education activities that we are putting together, but also the participating partners will be also invited in order to be able to directly interact. So this will be a real summit that we would be able to look forward to. In theory, the first one is scheduled for September 2021, but we are going to see with the corona how far that we would be able to make this one a reality in the physical space. But we are not forgetting the need for physical interaction and exchange, and it is a part of the entire plan at the NeurotechEU.
Perfect.
Yeah. And in terms of a question at the level of the legal issues a little bit, for example, at the level of the accreditation, this was raised in the context of the European degrees. Obviously, this is a major issue that one needs to solve, because currently programs are accredited in individual countries. So if there's a European degree, the accreditation will need to take place in a different form, because there are participating universities throughout Europe as well. But these are the things I think we can easily discuss in the next session that is going to start. This way, this is not going to be an easy problem to solve, obviously, but at multiple different levels, there are these discussions ongoing, considering the fact that we would like to create an all-inclusive environment where universities working together, we need to find a solution together in order to make sure that everybody would be able to benefit, while we ensure that the quality is absolutely top-notch. All right. So I'm looking at the question tab, if there's anything else that came during the last few minutes. There isn't. So I would like to thank all the session chairs, vice chairs, the student council, and all the individuals who participated in the discussions. This has been hopefully useful. That has been very informative for us from our perspective. And we are going to be following up in terms of what are the key actions that we would be able to take together in order to be able to move the NeurotechEU forward. So this is now the ending of the first session. We are going to be starting with the second session at 11 with NeurotechEU officially opening its doors. Thank you so much for being with us this morning, and see you in 30 minutes after stretching and getting a cup of coffee. See you soon.